Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. It's not actually quite the middle of the year yet. Like, we are mid-June, so I have like 2 weeks till the mid-year whenever I decide to post this. Filming this, I'm filming it on the 11th, so 12th? I don't know. We're in the middle of June somewhere. So we have like time. Normally I wouldn't be filming this so early, but I really feel like it's time for the second half of the year. The first half of the year hasn't been great as far as my reading goals, so I like really want the second half of the year to like bloom, to flourish, to be gorgeous and amazing. So like, here's the thing. My goal for the past 2 years has been to reach 150 books. I did it in 2021. I got 150 books. In 2022, I got like 130 something, and this year I've read 37 books so far. We're at the halfway point. Like, I'm not even on track to hit 100. If I don't hit 100, I'm gonna be embarrassed. That would be embarrassing. For me, for you, for everyone. So I haven't revised my goal because I really don't believe in revising a goal this far in, because like there's no good reason that I haven't read more books. I just haven't been. 30 books behind where I need to be in order to hit 150 books, which is many. But like, we're at this point mostly going for 100, if we're gonna be honest. But I feel like we're doing the mid-year check-in early because second half of the year is gonna be gorgeous, beautiful. I'm gonna read so much. You're gonna be just like, how does she even read so much? Maybe I will hit 150. I like, last year was in delusion until like Christmas Day that I was gonna hit 150 books when I was like 20 books behind. I was like, I could still do it. I like to live in delusion. Anyway, so we're doing the mid-year freakout tag today. And the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2023? And the best book I've read so far in 2023 has to be, I thought about this for one moment, and clearly the answer has to be Babel by R.F. Kuang. I read this back in February, I believe, and this book is brilliant. I was talking with my sister about it, and I was like, this book changed the way my brain works. My brain works differently now after I read R.F. Kuang. It's Babel. Like, one, it is such a compelling conversation around like colonialism and language, and like so vividly done inside this very compelling story with these really compelling characters. And I just like think R.F. Kuang is like so smart. And Yellowface came out less than a year later, and like I haven't read the Poppy Wars series yet, but like I'm gonna be reading that. And I haven't read Yellowface yet, and I'm gonna be reading that too, because I'm just like so excited to just read everything R.F. Kuang has to write, because I loved Babel so much. Best sequel. I don't know if I've read any sequels. We have two options. We have Serpent in the Wings of Night, the second book, and the Crowns of Nyaxia book. And I also read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings. Those are my Magnolia Parks books. I love the Magnolia Park series. It does something to my brain chemistry, so I'm gonna have to go with that one. That book series, I've talked about it multiple times. I think if it's for you, it's for you. And if it's not, it's not. The girls who get it, get it. The girls who don't, don't. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you to read Magnolia Parks, because it might not be for you. But it is so for me. And Daisy Hates the Great Undoing follows Daisy, who is my favorite character, and Julian, who I love to death, and Christian. Anyway, and we pick up where the last like Daisy Hates books left off. If you don't follow the series, it is kind of like weird. We have Daisy books and Magnolia books, and they go back and forth, and they follow essentially like, you'll get a Magnolia book and then a Daisy book that covers like the same time period while they're like doing similar things. It's a little confusing, but we get lots of different perspectives, and I just loved this book so much. It left on a cliffhanger. I think we get the next Magnolia book sometime this summer. A new release you haven't read yet, but want to. What's coming out this year? Oh, you know what I'm really excited to read? I'm really excited to read Love Theoretically, which I think is the title, by Ali Hazelwood. I loved Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, so I'm excited to read that one. I'm excited to read Abby Jimenez's books, Yours Truly. Those both sound delightful. I love a little romance. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I mean, my most anticipated release for the second half of the year is my book. I have a book coming out in September, and I'm anticipating it pretty heavily because, like, that's crazy. I wrote this book. I wrote No Child of Mine. It's a ghost story about this woman who falls pregnant and is in a family curse situation, and ghosts are maybe haunting her, and her husband is, like, a little bit going bananas, and there's, like, a cute little sapphic love story in the background. It's really good. I would recommend. I'm really anticipating that one pretty like aggressively. But beyond that, I'm really looking forward to Isabel Cañas's book Vampires del Norte, because I love a vampire book. like give me a vampire book. Like I said, I'm looking forward to another Magnolia Daisy Pates book. Love those books. Biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment is Confessions by Kanae Minato. This book was a book I read for the Booktubers Favorite Books of 2022 series because both Kayla from Books and Lala and Katie Colson loved this book, and I did not like it. I found it very mid. I found it kind of boring. I found it a little repetitive. I didn't find the twist like super twisty. It just like wasn't for me. It was not for me, and I was a little disappointed because I was really excited because so many people loved it, and it just like was very mid for me. Biggest surprise. Okay, my biggest surprise is a new to me author that I just wound up falling in love with, and that is Lily Gold. I just finished the last of her backlist yesterday over the weekend. She writes these teamwork romances, so 3 guys, 1 girl in every single one of her books. They would not be books that I would pick up, but I like got a Book Talk recommendation, and like Book Talk can trick me into reading almost anything like that fast. Like I will buy anything that they're selling. Like I am just like an easy mark for the Book Talk girlies. And I picked it up and they're so good. I feel like they are just like the perfect balance of like steamy, they're very spicy. Like top level, this is the maximum spice that I'm willing to consume is in these books. They're very spicy. They're a little bit cheesy. I like a cheesy romance. They're a little bit cheesy, but also emotional. Like I think I've teared up in every single one of them, and the characters are so well done and just like delightful. Like I just truly like these books, and I don't think because there's 3 guys and 1 girl, I think you would be like, oh, these are like trashy, just like, I don't know, just steam, no substance books. But I think there's really good substance. So the one I read this weekend was Triple Duty Bodyguards. Like that title does not give you like this is gonna be an emotional tale about like PTSD and trauma and like what it's like to live in fame and like deal with a stalker and like like it's so good. It's so good. So it follows this girl who has to hire bodyguards because she has this stalker that's after her. So she hires this team of 3 guys. And Lily Gold does such a good job of making sure each of these men are like strongly individuals. And so we've got these 3 guys, and they served in like the military together before, and now they're acting as her bodyguards. Also, they're British. Like Lily Gold is British, and so all the books are British, although this one takes place mostly in LA. I don't know, they were just like surprising with how delightful they are. She has another one coming out later this year, I think, and I will be reading it. They're just like the perfect little fun, fluffy, like it's like the perfect indie romance. Like when I want a KU romance, this is exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Favorite new author, can I say R.F. Kuang, even though I've only read one of her books? I'm really like R.F. Kuang's Babel like really blew me out of the water. Like I said, Lily Gold. I had a turnaround on Ali Hazelwood too. I didn't love the Love Hypothesis. I was like middle on the Love Hypothesis. And then I read Love on the Brain and I said, no, I was wrong. This girlie is about joy. And I love that for her. Oh, I read Kate Folk. Kate Folk. I always say her name like Folk, like very long, and I don't think it's supposed to be said that way. I read her short story collection Out There, and I loved it. I think that's the only thing she has out right now, but I'm like really looking forward to reading more from her. Newest fictional crush. Win from Happy Place by Emily Henry. Win is such a sweetheart. He's not my favorite. If I had to rank Emily Henry men, Alex Nielsen is number 1 for me. Win might be number 2, then Charlie, then Gus, then Charlie. It's a tough one. I'm not ready to make that call yet. But maybe Win from Happy Place. He's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, whoever the man was in Part of Your World, he was top tier. And whoever the man was in Love on the Brain, I would say if I had to just pick one guy from all of them, can it be Draco Malfoy from Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Idea of Falling in Love? I can't pick one. There was not a standout crush. I really liked a lot of the men though. We had a great time. Newest favorite character. Oh, you know what? I did start the Game of Thrones series. I'm like currently on the 2nd book in the Game of Thrones series. Just started the 2nd book. And I am like a pretty big fan. I mean, Daenerys is obviously like the coolest. I didn't realize, so like obviously like I'm aware of Game of Thrones. I didn't watch the TV show, but like I existed while the TV show was on, and it was like hard to not like hear stuff. So I like knew Daenerys was cool. When the book starts, Homegirl is 13. She's a baby. She's like an 8th grader. In my head, I have to age her up because what happens to her should not happen to 8th graders. And she like rolls with it and becomes like empowered and is like, I'm the cool girl. And I'm like, unfortunately, you're 14. Like, she had a birthday. She turned 14. So I pretend she's like 17 going on 18, maybe even 19 in these books, and that helps. But I really like her. Daenerys is amazing. Arya Stark is so much fun. I like Sansa too. The young girlies in Game of Thrones, super fun. Even some of the guys. Jon Snow, what a bop of a time. Bran Stark, fun, cute. Tyrion is a hilarious time. So I'm having a good time with the characters in Game of Thrones so far. So this is probably my favorite characters. Book that made me cry. What book made me? I've obviously cried more than once this year. I'm a book crier. I cried at Triple Duty Bodyguards. I cried at the first Game of Thrones book. Oh, Happy Place made me sob. Tomorrow made me sob. Thursday Murder Club made me cry very good. Yoke made me cry. The Ashes and the Star Curse made me cry. What else made me cry? Okay, I'm not gonna read you all of them. I write down all the books I read in this notebook, and I write down if they made me cry. And I cried in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I've cried in 22 of the 37 books I've read so far this year. I'm a crier, okay? I love a rom-com, and if a rom-com is at all good, it makes me cry. For the most part. So, I cried a lot. I would say two books that made me cry the most, I read both of them last month in May. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. That made me cry a pretty decent amount. And Tomorrow probably edges it out slightly. But those books both were crying books. A book that made you happy? The Lily Gold books made me happy. They were such a good time. I read Kate Canterbury's In a Jam. That book was so much fun. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez also made me happy. Oh my god, I read Draco. No, scratch that. All of those are wrong. The book that made me the happiest was a fanfiction called Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Falling in Love. That book was truly delightful. Delightful. It was like a slow burn romance. It made me like giddy. It made me kick my little feetsies. Delight. What a delight. That one probably made me the happiest. Just like giddy with delight. Like I was just cheesing on every page. That book made me the happiest. The most beautiful book you bought or received so far this year. I actually think the only book I've bought so far this year is The Happy Place, which is like hot pink. I love it. It's naked right now. Why doesn't it have its clothes on? I have the yellow version with the pink foil on the spine, but I'll put on its little hot pink outfit. I mean, I think it's cute. I think this is the only book I've bought so far this year. I'm not a big book buyer, so I think this is the only one I've bought so far this year. Happy Place. I've also received this book, which is my book. It's pretty cute. This is an ARC, but I would have to put that in the top cutest books I got this year. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I don't know. I need to read like 120 of them, though. Is there any books I need to read by the end of the year? I would love to finish the Game of Thrones series by the end of the year. That would be lovely. I need to finish Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. That series needs to get finished. I started it last year. Had other people read it. Read the first book, loved it. Had other people read it. Didn't finish it myself, so I need to finish that. I also want to finish like the novellas for the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I haven't read the two little like side novellas that are in that series. Looking forward to reading those. I need to read Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I really would like to read Poppy Wars too, if we can get around to it. Yeah, those are like the big books, but I'm sure there's a bunch of things I'm missing. I like really just want to be, I want to be reading so much. I have migrated. I used to keep my like TBR list on Notion, and I migrated it over to Storygraph, and it's now too easy to add books to my TBR, but I also can like really fully see the scope of my TBR every time I open Storygraph, and it has like 450 books on it, and like truly I would like to make a dent in that because it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. So I just like would like to keep reading so I can like hit some of those books, knock them off my TBR. So that's the plan for the rest of the year. I will talk to you guys next time. That's all I have. Subscribe if you want to watch more videos from me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.